Hi, guys.
Hello there. Hi, Kim.
Is this a Midnight Cowboy look-alike contest?
It's Dustin Hoffman.
Yes, he is.
Oh, boy. Oh, God.
I know what that makes you.
So
Hi there.
Damian and I are here on La Cienega Boulevard, just south of the West Hollywood border in Los Angeles. 1957 Norm's coffee shop.
Our man
Norm.
Davis.
Wait a minute.
There he is, Norm.
Oh, that's the guy. Wait, and the
This
sign
is
just started
Norm.
lighting up again.
Right.
It's like
He's
he
not
knew.
just a sign, he's a man.
So this,
And he's not just a man, he's an Angeleno.
So Damian, let's sort of get the pedigree provenance right. 1957.
Helen Fong.
Right, Helen Fong, chief designer for Armand Davis. Armand Davis still exists. Victor Newlove is the principal, now in charge, and Victor will come back to Victor. We're here because we're really happy because we just noticed about 5 hours ago that there was a letter posted by the Raising Cane's Corporation canceling their presentation tomorrow at the Cultural Heritage Commission for their proposed renovation of this historic Googie coffee shop. So we're here because we kind of won, right?
Sounds like a really good decision on the part of Raising Cane's.
Well, can you read us this letter? It's pretty short, but it was encouraging.
Well, I left it over.
You left it over there, did you?
I might have a cut here. Let's see if we can pull. Edit here. Pause for the edit.
He had to go get it because he really did leave it over there.
It's worth waiting for, though.
You know, this is a guy who doesn't carry a purse. What can I say? Thanks, Richard. What do you got there? Don't litter.
I'm not looking. So, Damien, what's Googie? This is a Googie.
No, what does the letter say?
Yeah.
Cultural Heritage. There's no timestamp on it. It's just dated today.
It was uploaded at 4:31
Cultural
p.m.
Heritage Commission, City of Los Angeles, 200 North Spring Street, regarding Norm's La Cienega Coffee Shop, Historic Cultural Monument 1090, 460 to 478 North La Cienega. Agenda item.
Would you get to the
4,
meat, please? Thank you.
Request for continuance.
That's the meat. Why?
Attention, Chairman Milofsky and members of the Cultural Heritage Commission. Raising Cane's will not be presenting to the Cultural Heritage Commission on Thursday, December 5, 2024. That's tomorrow morning. We have heard the community's concerns and we are in discussion with Norms about the future of the site. Any questions can be directed to publicrelations@raisingcanes.com. Best regards, Dale Goss, Senior Vice President of Real Estate, Raising Cane's, and his phone number is listed. It's given in his signature.
Okay.
which you can download.
I'm sorry, guys. Can you just hold that thought? It's not too often you can make a billionaire blink, but when you make a billionaire blink, an angel gets his wings.
So
This is good, right?
This is very good.
Fantastic.
So I called you, and we called some people, and here we are.
So
We
let's
just-
get pie and let's get
we just-
coffee
we
and
just-
celebrate.
We just had some pumpkin pie.
It's pretty
very
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good pie.
All right. So what is Googie architecture? This is 1957.
Wow,
this is a classic Googie architecture. What's
Well, I think that there are a lot of people with much better architectural pedigrees who could speak to it.
But they're not here in this
accurately
parking
than me.
lot
Yeah,
in
but
this
they're not
freezing
here.
night, are they?
So,
No, so
I mean,
you get to be the
generally, I
Googie
think
expert.
most people think of Googie architecture as a lot of people refer to it as that George Jetson space age look, that post-war atomic look where you've got a lot of zigging and zagging.
I-beams with,
Yeah,
with
but
big
got
giant holes
crooked
in them.
angles and roofs
Right.
that jut upwards, and you've got all kinds of and like here you can see on this one you've
Neon.
got neon signs, and you've got that's called the sawtooth pennants sign actually.
Yeah.
Because they look like pennants from a sports, and the sawtooth which speaks for itself. But you can see all the angles in this one. You know, the Googie, the designers of Googie, like Armand Davis, who specialized in coffee shops and car washes and restaurants and, you know, little mom and pop shops, they did this. They thought it would be more fun to not have square buildings, but have really
Bowling
angular
alleys.
roofs and kind of crazy curves and interesting uses of materials that you never see.
So this is like the non-Euclidean geometry in the Lovecraft stories that drives people insane, right?
Yeah.
That's why we're the way we are?
Yeah.
I got it, yeah.
And the Googie name is perfect because it's
named
silly
after,
sounding.
It's named after the
Googie's, the coffee shop.
named
Yeah.
Googie's at 6th and Olive in the San Pablo Hotel.
Well, the original one
the
was...
original one, yeah.
Right.
Well, that's what
No, the original one was up on Sunset next to Schwab's. And the menus would have the waitress, and her eyes would be the O's in Googie, and everybody would be Googling at her. It was kind of a sexy thing, the Googie thing.
But people loved that the way that the sign said Googie, and the roof did this. Crazy
It's a crazy
little thing.
roof.
And so buildings didn't really do that before, you know. And so these were buildings
these
that
are
were much
non-linear.
more playful. You know, I think it's the silly playfulness of it. And
let's not forget local building materials.
Oh, yeah, let's go see some, huh?
Googie coffee shops have really great examples of locally quarried stone.
we were
which
just
we'll
looking
see-
at the rocks
which
and
we'll
the
be back to.
stones here.
But
which
before
are,
we move, again, Cam, and we're going to move a lot, Damian, before we move, this continuance that has been requested.
By the way, the sign's behaving really well. It's
Raising
almost like
Cane's-
Norm
it never
knows.
stops.
Yeah.
Raising Cane's has said they will not present tomorrow. And what were they going to present? Do we have a sense of what they were going to present?
We do have a sense of what they were. So I have to answer that question.
We didn't print that out, but yeah, please tell us.
They were presenting some very radically different interior designs that included things like, dynamic programming, high-def TV screen monitors, and where the what's called correctly called the demonstration kitchen or the exhibition kitchen,
Yeah.
where you can actually see eggs and hash browns being fried on the griddle right there in front of you and everything. That was eliminated in the drafts that they showed, and it was turned into just a walled-off area with little slots where your bags of Raising Cane's would have been probably delivered through.
Right, so let's sort of break this down. So this presentation tomorrow, which was canceled, which is still available
Online. And on our esoteric.substack.com/norms page.
Good.
If you want to
so
see it.
this presentation, which is still available, even though it will not be presented, this presentation features the Ed Ruscha painting, Norms on Fire, as
In black and white?
In black and white is this sort of background.
The backlight, yeah, it's just
Wallpaper.
throughout
Wallpaper.
The slideshow uses the famous painting as a muted backplate with just the titles. It's a title backplate, so it's been used.
I don't think I bet he's not happy about that. Try and see, maybe he'll
It's a very
post on social media.
unexpected use of the.
So this presentation has been canceled, and that's good because this rebranding in the presentation, which we were able to see yesterday, this rebranding is on.
Okay, so I'm looking at Norm's right now. It says 7 unbeatable deals all day, every day. Come on.
Okay. So
I see T-bone steaks.
so
What do they serve at Raising Cane's?
They serve chicken tenders.
Chicken tenders. That's it. They got side orders?
That's yes, they do have. I'm not your Raising Cane's customer. My son and daughter go there all the time.
Yeah.
But
Even though? Yeah.
I think there are, I think there are fries, potato.
Okay.
Again, don't quote me because I'm not a Raising Cane's.
Okay.
I just sat in the drive-through for a long time.
So let's go over here before we go in. Let's go over here. Let's talk about.
Yeah.
Local trip. So we talked
This
about
rock.
Googie. So here's
A great place to put your pie. Yeah. For later.
Remnants of our pie.
Yeah.
So I believe this is Palos Verdes stone.
It's an
So-
impressive piece.
Most mid-century or Googie designs incorporate a veneer of local Palisade stone, and this is just part of this immediate post-war breakaway from brick.
Yeah.
The linearness of brick, and it's just very very freeform. This is just a giant rock that they brought up that they didn't quarry into veneer.
Hey, Cowboy, will you come around right here and put your face through there?
Right.
Yeah.
So we have the I-beam.
Peekaboo. That's what it's all about. That's so weird. Thank you.
This I-beam construction with its this has little impact on the integrity of the I-beam. And as an aside, I will say I really miss my good friend John Maljevic, who built the car wash across the street, and I suspect probably fabricated this I-beam.
Well, you see these at all the
Yeah.
Googie car washes. They usually have.
Right, well,
they reach for the sky with this sort of zigzag.
Right, and the car washes are like the coffee shops, as if there's no glass, and John built car washes, and so yeah.
Show us the tile.
Oh, okay.
I like look at that $7.99 classic over there. That's actually in today's day and age I would say that, you know, to find a meal deal at that price point, look at $7.99.
That's great.
$7.99. That's why this is important to people to still have, because anywhere you go today that's a so-called, you know, a modern version of a coffee shop, you're going to pay $18 for, you know.
We're not going to talk about
No, we are going to talk about that because what's going on here, 75th anniversary meal.
Great place.
People come in here not because they want to get a cheap meal, but because they actually want to be with other people.
Right.
And
So
some
this
people
is-
can only afford
Right.
this kind of
and
thing.
that's why this is important.
Yeah.
And notice that the wall is crenellated, right?
Yeah, I
This is
see
not
that.
a flat wall at all. This is very expensive, much more expensive than just laying a straight wall. And you wanted to see the top.
I did.
Okay, so you can see it. You can start to see the end. You can start to see them all along and all
Yeah.
the pillars.
Yeah,
But you
I see
can
them.
See it past here. So you can see, because the way the light is, you can see that the N they're actually made up of tesserae, individual shaped tiles.
Yeah.
And the tile mason.
Woo! What are you doing back
The
there?
tile mason went ahead and well, all of this is laid by hand, but this tile is laid. It's laid on the ground. They have the webbing. You do it in sheets and you roll it, and it's done pretty quickly. These norms, someone spent 2-3 hours building each of those pendants. They cut them and they shape them, and so
That's pretty cool.
Look at the
that's
stone
impeccable.
back here. Look at
Right,
that.
we've got-
And of
there
course,
you go.
peekaboo. Look how nice this is.
So-
Everybody's
and
having
so-
fun. I see my table.
So this is the Palos Verde stone, that giant stone that we were standing in front of. This is quarried.
Yeah.
This is quarried stone, the veneer, and so this really is one of these salient aspects of Googie architecture, is the use of the veneer Palos Verde stone. I think.
And look, you're under this really great
And
panel.
Bob's Big Boy used these too. If you
Oh,
look
yeah,
at all,
right.
and I think Armand Davis, who also worked on some of the Bob's Big Boys,
Yes.
they employed the same materials. So
Well, maybe they had a piece of this quarry, you know?
a giant piece of rock.
The Huntington Gardens about 6 years ago, someone called them and said, "Hey, I have all this Palos Verde stone in a warehouse. Do you want it?" And yes, like you can't get it.
Yeah, it's all over the place now.
Let's go back in.
Yeah, right, come on.
Ooh.
It is
Are we gonna get on
cold.
the bus to Miami next?
I've seen this
Stone
movie.
is just timeless.
No,
It
that's
never
nice.
breaks down. It rains and the weather hits it, and it just stays.
Everyone seems to be having a really nice time. Okay, so what happens now?
Let's look at the sign again.
Okay, we're going oh yeah, what's the sign up to? Oh, it's doing some weird stuff.
It's got so many different programs it does.
It's like a disco.
It just dances for a bit, you
Yeah.
know, every once in a while it just does this whole dancing around. Then it goes back to the circuit of lighting up just the letters, then the pennants, and then it dances again.
It's pretty joyous.
This is the dance part.
Let's go inside. I think it's getting time to go.
Yeah, let's go have a quick look-see without bothering anybody enjoying their 75th anniversary meals. I know. It's such a nice place, and as the evening gets a
Catch the
little
birds
later.
of paradise, because I actually love the fact that they have birds of
Yeah,
paradise
yeah.
here. It's this
Aw.
tropical setting that adds to it too. It all seems exotic. Corned beef.
Perfect.
So, Damian, before we go in, just a couple words on the rebranding. So Raising Cane is a fried chicken.
Chicken tenders, yeah,
Chicken
fried chicken.
tenders. A very limited menu. The interesting thing is that we did note in the presentation. What we did note is that it would not be a drive-in. So this is not a drive-in, and they're not looking to make this a drive-in.
No,
All of this is off the table, but just up until about 5 hours ago, our solace was, well, at least it
not a
doesn't look
drive-thru,
like they
yeah.
don't want to do a drive-through, which gives it a hope that this could continue to stay to be a coffee shop.
Right.
And so we'll come back to drive-ins and Arby's at the end. And before we go in, Victor Newlaw, I put that name on the table. That is the existing partner of Armand Davis, and he's been retained by Raising Cane's to do a complete. He's gone back to the plans, and they've done all the studies, and they've redrawn everything, and they've got this.
Restoration is the terminology that I think that is being employed.
It's pretty loud here, guys.
Okay.
According to the conversations that and I had with them, they plan to reclaim the terrazzo floor, which is supposedly underneath the floor right here. And
Well, that's pretty cool. I'd
that's-
like to see the
that would be
terrazzo.
a
That would
plus
take
to
about
see
what?
that if it was
That
there.
might take about 3 days, right? You don't have to
And-
close for a year.
you know, there's a wall.
Show it
piece
to
in
us
the
from
back
here.
where
We
you
can see-
in the window
yeah.
where the wood is right there, where those pictures are.
I think we can do a lot from outside, actually. Let's do that.
Do you want to do? Okay.
Yeah. This makes me
There are a lot
happy.
more
Are you
people.
able to
There are a lot more
start?
people in.
You're gonna cut and start again?
No, I'm not going to start again.
Alright,
Look
well,
at these great windows. You can see everything.
Well, then I mean, I would say, well, look at the wall. So the
Okay.
wall back there.
Yeah.
Theoretically, they believe that behind that wooden wall,
With all the pictures on it.
is a documented. I would almost call it an illustration mural. It's a black and white mural that is almost like a pencil drawing in white, and it shows the Norms sign. And I guess that was here back in the early days before it was covered with theoretically a facade. So they were going to investigate to see if that was still under there.
Let me have a look.
And-
See? Hang on.
That I believe is in the presentation.
So this whole area was a mural. Oh, that's super interesting.
Yeah.
I like that.
So this is a coffee shop. There's a counter. Let's go back to the pie display.
Yeah.
The pie case is probably the
Wait, here's another of these fabulous ends for Norm.
So the pie case, of course, is built on a Palos Verdes stone pediment.
That's
Hey,
a
that
pie
would-
case that's built to last forever right there.
That's a glamorous thing.
And so the pie case, of course, has a slope, has a rake. It's not at a 90. The windows, the displays are at a rake.
And there's a
mirror
mirror to
so
show you the
can
pie.
see the top
Yeah.
of the pies.
But they don't keep the pie in there anymore.
Well, we're gonna have to work on
They need
it.
to put pie back in there. That's the best pie case on the planet.
So let's go back to what we're here because the presentation was canceled. So whatever has been discussed about the rebranding, replacing the norms with canes on the neon sign, all of this at the moment is off the table.
So I kind of got into a little bit of a tiff with some YIMBY types on the Reddit.
You always
I
are.
know. And they said, is this about saving the architecture or is it about saving Norms? And I said, the architecture is magnificent, but Norms as a community hub is sacred.
Right.
And I think a lot of people are maybe surprised by how they feel about this. We've lost so much. Everything's closing down. Coming up here tonight, we went by vast swaths, whole blocks of boarded up buildings we know that we remember the businesses were in them. This city is lousy with available real estate, and Todd Graves wants this. Why?
So let's.
Because it's cool?
So Davey,
It's a bad idea.
Let's sort of walk back.
Helicopter.
So 1965. 1965.
Okay.
The Sunset Strip is just north of here,
Sure.
which at the time was unincorporated Los Angeles. Coffee shops on Sunset Boulevard defined popular culture in the late 50s through the entirety of the 1960s.
Ben
In
Franks.
Ben Franks.
Scribblers.
Jack.
Scribners.
Tiny Nailers.
Jack's with the giant neon car hop that became Tower Records.
I'm sure there was a ships probably,
Oh,
or
that's ships in the
penguins.
sec, right.
Yeah.
So the role of coffee shops on Sunset Boulevard, and we are Sunset Boulevard adjacent. So what was the role of coffee shops on the Sunset Strip in an incorporated Los Angeles County?
Well, you're talking about the 1960s.
Yes.
I mean, the Ben Franks was actually a mecca for the burgeoning rock and roll crowd,
Right.
the young people. So there were night owls. So Sunset Boulevard was a place that it didn't stay. It didn't close at 5, 6 o'clock when the businesses closed. That's why it was the Sunset Strip. It stayed open
Right.
all night.
Well, that's because it
And
was unincorporated,
Right.
And
so...
these people,
County,
you know.
county that
What is going on up there? Hang on a second. Is he taking pictures? He might be taking pictures of the sign. I don't blame him. The sign's pretty cool. All right.
But the point is that in the 60s, the world stayed awake at night and stayed awake all night. And the Sunset Strip was the personification of we're up and we're a city that's like New York,
Young
we don't
people.
sleep.
Yeah.
And the place they went, in fact, Ben Franks was so famous that when they were actually casting the TV show The Monkees,
Yes.
the casting The casting
Ben
notice said,
Frank's
we're looking
tights.
for Ben Frank's
That's
tights,
right, yeah.
Which would be the hippie type kids that would be hanging out late at night at Ben Frank's.
Now, actually, since you bring this up, can we talk about this beautiful thing in the parking lot?
Oh, the car over there.
Yes.
The
What is that?
The rust-colored.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's a perfect kind of thing to have here.
That'd be a early 70s, maybe.
Yeah? Well, I want to take a picture of it with the sign because I just feel like this is a little bit of time travel here. That is a beautiful vehicle.
It's a Grand Prix.
A Grand Prix. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Maybe the sign is going to do its thing. See, there you go.
From Alaska.
Is this a Chrysler? Grand Prix are really showing my lack of working knowledge of America.
As Jay Leno would say, these are the kind of cars where you get into an accident with them, they just hose it down and sell it to somebody else.
Well, the ambulance is here,
It's
so
gonna
we're good.
survive the-
Anyway, I'm so glad that we're here tonight because something changed, you know?
Yeah,
Something changed between yesterday and today.
Well, this was headed towards a really different ending, so
The most important thing to remember here is that they tell you it's a done deal and that you don't own the real estate and you don't control the lease. But there's nothing more powerful than people speaking up and saying, wait a minute, because these are compelling narratives.
We have before we end, I think we're getting close to ending. I just have to say, Teresa Grimes, the historic consultant,
Yeah,
she's the angel of death.
yeah.
So when you see her name on presentations for historic buildings, she's the angel of death.
And it's supposed to be a done deal.
And we have bought a reprieve from the beating of the wings of the angel of death.
well, I would like to think that the folks at Raising Cane's saw the voice of the people being put forward for the last week, and they heard it, and they had meetings internally and said, this is probably not a great look for our company, which is otherwise thought of as a community booster of a company, and we're going to look like the opposite of
Like
that
the
here.
Scrooge.
They have 800
Like the Googie
estate
Scrooge.
locations,
Who
and
wants that?
by the time this was going to become a Raising Cane's, it'd probably be 1,000, and it would be probably the most unpopular one, and they probably looked at it and said, this isn't worth being hated because we're destroying something that's living history that's awesome. We're just chicken won't taste as good. I think that would be the thinking that whatever the thinking was, it was good thinking that they decided let's take a beat on this.
I want to think that there's also one small little vector in getting us to the reprieve. I'd like to think that Ed I don't know Ed. I guess I'll call the Bogosian.
Yeah.
The Bogosian Gallery.
Gagosian with a G. Yeah.
And ask them, but maybe they called Raising, because I mean that painting.
Maybe they got permission to put it in the.
I doubt they got.
Oh, I don't think LACMA got permission to use LACMA on Fire in their branding for tearing the museum down. It's kind of a tough.
So
it's a
I
tough
don't know.
sell.
I'd like to think that maybe Ed helped push that needle just far enough where they just said, yeah, screw it, we're going to cancel the presentation.
I will say it's definitely interesting for a painting that is so famous for its on fire. It's that bright orange red color. Is the it's seeing it in black and white sepia tones was a very interesting usage of it.
I don't understand. So I guess I want to end with a scene from one of my favorite films, the Rainer Banner Loves Los Angeles.
Rainer Banham, our teacher.
Our Kim and I studied under Rainer at UC Santa Cruz, and in the middle of this wonderful 15-minute documentary about Los Angeles in 1971, he's in the parking lot of Tiny Nailers.
And he asks for a pineapple sundae. Who orders a pineapple sundae? Only Rainer.
An English art historian from Norway.
Well, they had it for him.
But he's with Ed Ruscha and the editor of West magazine.
Mike. Oh
Mike,
God. Oh God, he's so good.
But the three of them just talk about gas stations and prefabricated gas stations and the aesthetic of prefabricated gas stations.
Because you drive down the street and it's not there, and then you turn around and it is there, and it's thrilling.
But I just want everyone to watch that scene. Okay, go find it online somewhere and watch it and channel Ed Ruscha talking about prefabricated gas stations, and let's save this Norms.
Save this Norms and all the people who've worked here for so long, and all the people who come here maybe once a week, and it's the highlight of their
Every
week.
day.
Well, Ashley, who just met us in there, was the nicest person who said hello to us the minute we walked in,
And she's a night worker. She needs a night job so that she can follow her dreams. It's a beautiful thing.
at this time of night on a Wednesday night in this cold, I can't think of a more inviting place to walk into right now. I swear, it's so warm and it smells so good, and there's a bustling and a clatter, and you can hear plates and dishes being banged around and see things frying on the grill, and it just is a happy place, the likes of which don't exist very much in their authentic state anymore. So if you're in the neighborhood,
Right. It's 470 North La Cienega.
You're not getting off without my bringing this up. You saved Tail of the Pup.
Oh yeah, you did. You
Well,
did
that's a
it.
different
That was
story.
you.
That's a
That's a
different
different. This guy is like roadside royalty.
I don't know about that, but you know what? This was a fun adventure, and I'd like to think that we all had a little bit of a hand in helping be a voice for this great place.
Well, I'm gonna say we did because I was there. This has been the whole week, but it was worth it. And
Kim knows because she wouldn't take no for an answer. You just
I wouldn't
kept
take
going at it.
no for an answer. No,
Okay.
I wouldn't.
I think that's it. We're gonna buy you a cup of coffee. It's cold.
Get in there, you two. Go
Okay,
on.
I think we're done.
I'm just gonna
Thank
follow you in.
Let's stay. We've only just begun. We've got the pause button hit, and let's get some dialogue going.
Yeah.
With corporate.
You keep calling those billionaires. One day they'll pick up, and then we'll have to meet them. Okay.
Well, this is one billionaire who made a good decision tonight.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
for sure. So
Thank you, Todd.
Time
Thanks
frame.
for listening to LA. You know,
something that's
we're
very wise today.
we're pretty particular about our diners, but we're also very loyal when you treat us right. So come on, let's go.
From Alaska, I don't think I never even seen that. That's the kind of car when you start it up, you hear it down the block for like 3 blocks down. Richard, I'm going to win you something in the claw.
Go for it. All right, we're done. Lots of parking. You're gonna love it.
Wow.
Come down. Make yourself at home. Just like these guys are gonna. Yeah, don't worry.